Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on Space Station 13. We're currently on the CSS Siberia. We are Chief Engineer, and this is a local server, so I don't have to worry about annoying anyone too much. Today's video, of course, is going to be dealing with one of the rather interesting challenges, and that's going to be to get the Supermatter reactor fired up, as well as get the solar panels online so that we have nice electrical flow to the station. It's an involved process, but it's not the most impossible thing you'll ever do. Trust me on that one. There's a couple things that you need to be aware of, and that's going to be dependent on the server you're playing on. A lot of times, again, you're not going to be chief like me here. You're going to be a regular engineer, and the chief engineer is basically going to be the one kind of running around getting things set up. So we find ourselves here in engineering, and we're pretty much ready to go. A couple different things I like to kind of do initially to kind of get everything ready. Again, I'm chief right now, which makes my life a little bit easier. How you doing, Polly? The one problem I have with this parrot is he absolutely loves to basically fly around and pick up important pieces and run around with them. So I'm just going to put him inside the disposal unit without engaging it. Don't worry, he'll be fine. So the next thing what I like to do is I like to grab this really fancy belt. And this belt is awesome. There's some really good stuff on it. And I'm actually going to put it into my hands here, and I'm going to drop the belt on the table because I'd rather use somebody else's belt because I'm chief. So what I'm going to do is run over to this regular tool belt, toss it on my belt there. I'm going to go ahead and press the Alt key and click on this thing. It's going to open it up. I'm going to click on an item. Click on my belts, click on an item, click on my belts, click on my item, click on my belts. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. And the big one is the wrench. With the wrench, I can do just about anything in this part. And some people like to grab like the flashlight and they toss it. But for me, the most important thing to grab, of course, is cable because we're going to need a ton of that later. So I'm going to grab it right now. All right, let's go ahead and head down to the Supermatter reactor and kind of get ourselves familiarized with the stupidity that we're about to basically be undertaking. Ah, there it is. It's that lovely yellow crystal you see in the middle. This is a fun little piece of matter. It's a trans-Newtonian element for sure. Basically, by applying energy to it, it generates a bunch of gases and also a lot of radiation, which we have radiation collectors around for the purposes of sucking up. Now, this is a good thing and it's a bad thing because if we get it wrong, we all die. If we get it right, we have plenty of electrical power and never have any issues. I'm actually going to run over here and get myself a Geiger counter, click it once to turn it on. I'm going to grab myself some meson glasses. I love these things because they make it a little bit easier to see. I can see a little bit better in the dark, so I feel much better about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to be redoing all the piping here. The piping they give us is okay, but the problem with the piping they give us is if there's some kind of like code glitch, we tend to blow up this crystal and it kills us all. And so we got to be very careful about that. So one of the first things we'll do is we'll actually run around and shut all of the different piping loops off here. And you'll see this. And while I'm doing this, one of the things I'm going to do is actually come to this one and I'm going to turn this one on and I'm going to set it to filter nitrogen only. The reason being is the gas comes through here, comes into here. It's going to go blast back in. We're going to be using nitrogen as a coolant. Yeah, there's other coolants. Save it for engineers who like to blow their ship up. And we're going to go to each one of these and we're just going to set them to nothing because theoretically only other gases come through these pipes, but what we do need to make sure is they don't just build up pressure and kill us all when we open up a pipe or something later. Because if you have an overpressurized pipe and you try to unwedge it, you're going to die horribly. Just kind of keep that in mind. I'm not pressurizing anything until we're ready to rock. But the cool thing here is I can actually see I'm extended. And if you actually look out this window, you can see where all the excess nasty gas comes out. What some people actually like to do is they actually run another pipe here and they go to the regular atmospherics over here and they can actually use it to generate the oxygen that we need for this actual space station itself. It's kind of a nice little touch, but it's not something that I typically do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run around and finish up the job here. I'm going to go ahead and shut this one off. Again, there's no gas flowing anywhere. We've shut it off for safety. And then what we're going to do is grab ourselves two things. First thing's going to be this lovely pipe gun. I love this thing. It's fun to play with. And second, we're going to go into our little belt here. We're going to grab a wrench. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear up a bunch of pipes here that we're not going to need. Now, some people leave this pipe in and basically pipe gas out of this thing into these two containers, like maybe they want carbon dioxide or something. I don't. I just tear it up. So what I'm going to do is tear it up. Some people are on a bypass pipe kind of around it. It's perfectly fine. But again, you can do whatever makes sense for you. I do it the way that I learned how to do it. Everybody's a little different. And obviously, if they change, like they patch the game or something, everything can get all messed up. So you got to kind of be careful with that. So I've broken these pipes out of the ground. I've selected my pipe selector with X. I'm going to go ahead and press this, go to recycle mode. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to suck all these pipes up that I just broke here. And you can see I've created myself quite a mess here. One thing to make my life a little bit easier, though, is I'm going to turn my little T-ray scanner on. I'm going to grab this back out of my hand here. Yeah, so you can see that pipe flow a little bit. Now I'm going to grab this thing and I'm just going to rebuild the pipes that I just did in my own sort of way. So I'm going to pop one there, and we're going to go ahead and pop one here. And you can see how there's a little green pipe here. We're going to put a corner on this pipe right here. So basically, boop, just like that. We're going to go over here. We're going to grab this one, boop, just like that. So now they're going directly inside. So we have the in and we have the out. We're pretty much ready to rock there. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to recycle mode, grab my wrench. I'm going to come running down here. I'm going to tear this one out. Common mistake everybody makes, by the way, is they accidentally take the pipe. Instead of taking the pipe out, they take the floor out. You'll do it 100 times. We get it. It's okay. It happens. Like, don't stress. It's part of the fun. All right, that's all done. Let's go ahead and generate some more pipes. Again, because I have a wrench in my other hand, it auto-magically locks the pipe down, which makes my life a little bit simpler. Sweet, 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 sweet. Looks good to me. We took care of all this. This is all done down here. I'm going to go run over here, back to recycle, grab my wrench. We're going to pull these two up. Some of you are going, but you can't do that. Yeah, you can. It's not going to give you it. They're gases. Like, don't worry. Again, I'm just going to suck those two up, take this one out. This is the one I always tear up the grate underneath it. I can't say how many times I've done that. It's pretty embarrassing. All right, so let's go back to the pipes. We're going to go ahead and slap a pipe in there. We're going to slap a pipe in here, slap a pipe in here, and we are fantastic. So our pipage is actually really good to go here. We're done with the pipe gun, sadly, even though it's fun to play with. So that's done. That's done. That's looking good. That's looking good. Be a nice guy, and please put the pipe gun back when you're done with it. A lot of people just sort of walk away with it, and then we have to go find another one. Don't do that, please. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the gases set up. So I'm going to climb on in here, and there's a couple different things I'm going to do. First thing, I'm going to hit up my air sensor here, and I'm going to set the external pressure targets to as high of a number as I can. Set, and go ahead and crank those all up. Looks pretty good. Next, I'm going to go to the scrubber control, and I'm going to set these all to extended siphon. So basically what's going on here is we're sucking the gases out and blowing gases in at the same time, basically creating a little chamber. You can fiddle with this a lot, but one thing you have to remember is after you get that gas flowing, you have to come here and you have to actually turn on the pumps that send the gas to the actual collectors. You can see here, that would have been really bad for us. Again, this is sucking it out. You can actually click right here, and you can see we're really pulling some gas out of here. I can go ahead and take a look at this real quickly here. Status. My text display got all gone. That's okay, though. I'm not too worried about that. It's not going to bother me too much. I could restart and come back in. Hang on. Yeah, there it is. Apparently, I dropped my wrench when I did that, too. All right, let's go take a look and make sure I did this all correctly. Looks pretty good to me. All right, the last thing I like to do here, of course, is I'm going to go over in here. I'm going to go ahead and release some nitrogen. These are both nitrogen tanks. Pretty safe. I'm just going to open this up. And what this is going to do is suck a bunch of nitrogen out of it, pump it into here. You can see we've got gas flow right here, 524 PSI, or PA, really. And it's going to blow it in here, come back out this way. We can go run over here and make sure we've got flow. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. That's exactly what we wanted to do. The next thing I like to do, too, is like to run up here. Just going to kind of quickly make my little dash, and I like to just check to make sure that their atmosphere is correctly nitrogen. Details, yeah, we're 100% nitrogen. Oh, we're just so good at this game sometimes. So next what I'm going to do is run to the station, and I'm going to dispense 5 plasma tanks. And we need these for the purposes of collecting our all-important gas, or radiation, basically. So the way I do it is I click on it, and I press E, click E, click E, click E, click E. And again, I'm putting these into my backpack right here when I press E like that. So let's head back down here. I'm going to go ahead and open this guy real fast. And I'm going to go run down to the side. Actually, I'm going to put the wrench back on my tool belt here. I'm going to head down here. And these are radiation collectors. What I do is I grab my plasma tank, stick it in there, and click on the radiation detector. See how I got 5? Oh, it's like I knew I needed to do this. Grab one of these, grab one of these. Keep in mind, your radiation will be used up, or I should say your plasma will be used up with time. So if you did not fill those high, which by the way, they don't start very high, you will have to go back and basically replace them. And that could cause an interesting catastrophic problem if you're not careful. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We are checking. I'm not going to walk through the oil. Last thing I do is I run up here, press this button, and that's going to seal us off. We are now ready to commence primary ignition. Haha, I love this part. But before I do that, I'm going to go get the SMES set up. That's basically where we're going to be sending all this electricity. Different ways to set it up, depending on who your station guy is. And again, you can adjust your load. Basically, these are super batteries that are all around me right now. I'm going to click on one of them. I'm going to set its charge to 200. Set its charge to 200. You can see we've already burnt through like 71% of our battery, 61%. And that's about it. And then we can go back to the sending mode later. Again, the lights in this place aren't going to go out if we're not quick about this. So I'm not worried about it too much. All right, time to commence primary ignition. I love this part. So this is the part where I basically click and run. Click. I give it 5 blasts. 2, 3, 4. Really? 5. All right, I'm going to shut that off. Now, the reason I'm only giving it 5 is that's going to be enough to detect if we've made any mistakes during this process. So I'm going to run up here real quickly, open this door, and then I'm going to run up to the console, and I'm just going to double check to make sure nothing weird happened. Let's see, we produced 293 MeV, our temperature is 23, our pressure is 2 kPa, and we can see we're mostly nitrogen in there. So things are working actually pretty smooth for us. So I'm going to run down here real quickly. I'm going to go ahead and open the door, and we're ready to keep the ignition going. And again, you're going to produce a lot of gas real quickly. Let's let her rip. So again, this is a little reckless, but turning on all these at the same time is a pretty good way to blow us all up and kill us all. But I'm fairly confident that we did a nice job when we got this thing set up. Run up here real quick. Go ahead and open that door one more time. Again, you can always move in diagonals. It's part of the meta, I think they call it in this game. I don't know. Open this up, and we can see right now we're producing 1132 MeV, which is plenty. Temperature's coming up, but it's going to stabilize pretty soon. A little bit of pressure in there, which is what we wanted. And we can also see our gases are mostly nitrogen with a little bit of plasma and a little bit of O2. So the other thing we want to check now is see if we're actually charging. This is kind of one of those tricky bits that we have to be careful with. So I'm going to come in here real fast. You can see all the lights are turning orange and flickering and kind of getting all groovy here. But one of the things I can see here is we are indeed not charging on that side. We're not charging on that side. We're charging on that side, which means we're probably not charging on that side. So one strategy that a lot of people do to try to balance the charge up a little bit, and again, it's going to take time to build up enough juice, is they'll grab the one that's charging, and instead of sending 50 kilowatts, they'll come in here and do something like 150 kilowatts. The advantage to that, of course, is we're basically going to send a significantly larger amount of load basically to the rest of the facility. You got to make sure that your charging amount is always higher than your actual output amount. Otherwise, you're never going to send any power. But if we come down here, we can see we are charging smoothly. We're also sending at the same time. We know that our main system is working correctly, and I'm going to go run over and take a quick look at that just to make sure we've done a nice job. Go right over here. You can see the pipes in the ground. Open this sucker up, and we're producing 14, almost 1,500 MeV right here. So we're doing okay. Let's go ahead and head to this computer right here, grid power monitoring, and we can see we are providing 575, and our draw is 204. So we're doing a nice job here. So one of the things we could do is we could hit charge real quickly and scroll all the way down, and you can see there's only a couple different parts of the station that have actually run their batteries down at this particular point. So they're actually doing okay today. So everyone just got to click, 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 and pop on one at a time, as more and more of the primary load is going to be the responsibility of the SMES. Nice. So one of the things you want to do is, if you have a very long game, is you want to run back and forth and double check to make sure that you didn't make any boo-boos. With that, again, that plasma inside is going to be slowly burnt up as you do your little mission. I'm going to go shut that T-ray scanner off. It's done its job. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at our good friend, the solar panels, which some people love the solar panels. It's just kind of one of those things they like to fiddle with, which is great. It's like I say, whatever works for you. Problem with the solar panels is it's a bit of a process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down here, open up this thing. I'm going to get myself an oxygen tank, and I'm going to take that tank, and you'll notice that I'm unable to slap it into this particular place because I need a special type of suit to attach it to. Fortunately, we have a special kind of suit kept right in here. So I'm going to open this one up, and you can see it's a mod control unit, mag boots, and a breath mask. Nice. So what I'm going to do is open up this one. I'm going to grab that. The way this one works is a little goofy. I'm not a big fan of it, but the short version is you have to take your backpack, put it down, grab this, put it into your backpack slot, and now you can actually activate this, and I'll get it to go. It's a little bit of a goofy thing. Like I said, it's a little different. Before I do that, though, I'm going to grab that breath mask. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, put it over my mouth, grab myself my magnetic boots, I know. Grab these, I'll put my shoes away, and I can walk around bare feet. I've stepped in some nasty things in this game. You don't even want to know. And we're pretty much ready to go. Now, this suit is a goofy thing, and it's actually a little terrifying when it activates, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to press the deploy button, and when you do that, it's going to start grabbing onto you and doing things. I actually had this little hard hat. I'm going to put this away because I don't need it anymore. And then we're going to activate it. I'm going to make sure I deployed it properly. Let's see here. Deploy. Yeah, I always do this backwards. There we go. Cool. Now I'm going to press power, click it twice, and watch what the suit does. It's going to boot up, and it's going to wrap around me and attach stuff to me. And then you see all the seals are coming, and then see there's a helmet over my head, and all the seals activate, and we're good to go. So now we can put the oxygen tank on our back. Voila. See that? Isn't that awesome? So now we're good to go here. Everything's good. We have a couple extra bonuses. The key thing here is I'm looking pretty good. I'm looking real good right now. I like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to run outside now, and we're going to go ahead and get everything all ready to go for the solar panels. When you're doing this, of course, I recommend bringing a lot of extra cable with you. You're going to need a ton of it. So I see there's a whole extra bag of it right there. I can actually, what I'll probably do is I'm going to leave that behind. I'm going to put that cable in my pocket. I don't really need the Geiger counter anymore. I'll put that away too. Give me as much cable as they allow. Let's see here. Any more cable? Yeah, there's a backpack. We can go take a look real quick. I don't need to drag the backpack. Oh, it's empty. Fine. I see how it is. Delete. I see how it is. Let's see here. T-ray scanner. The optical T-ray scanner is really good too. Cable coil. Yep, I'll take one of those. You're laughing because I'm grabbing all this cable, but the laugh is going to be on you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and make our way over to the primary solar panels. In this particular station, there are 4 sets of solar panels. Each one of these solar panels, of course, is in a nice, awkward to get to spot, depending on what version of the station you're on. Again, it's interesting to see how the maps in this game actually change and how, like I said, the meta kind of shifts with time. If we wanted to, of course, we could shut the suit off just to kind of lighten us up just a little bit. It also saves a little battery. These suits don't charge instantly, so that's one of those things you have. Oh, I could have taken that turn, couldn't I have? Just going to make my way there. The helmet just popped open. You can see the colors are basically sitting there ready to go. What? Who put this here? Why would somebody do that? Sigh. Wire cutters, by the way, if you need them. There's actually some really fun rooms behind all these places. Follow the cables, and you'll find what you're looking for. This used to be an old restaurant. You can see our APC is now charging here. There's a couple of big old air tanks. Oh, boy. Oh, my God. People, don't do this to me. Of course, the captain's going, did you just snip all those things? No. What are you talking about? Here we are. And this is the solar panel side of things. And as you can see, looking out the window, our solar panel is not connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this thing all booted back up again. We're going to head outside, put some air on, and basically we're going to reconnect all these panels. It's not a hard process, but it'll take you a hot second the first time you do it. Go ahead and turn on our internals. We'll push that button real quickly. I'm going to click on this button. I'm going to cycle to exterior. It only takes a second to process. Again, make sure your air is on before you get silly and just run out here or something like that. Grab my cable. I told you we need some. There it goes. All right, here's the strategy. The cable goes in the direction you're facing. So if I click this way, it's going to be towards me. So if I click here, you can see that it creates it towards me. So if I take a step, I can go like that, and you can actually place the cable just like that. Now, there's a couple different people who have kind of different philosophies on what the best way to kind of connect these cables are. The important thing you have to remember is that however you end up doing it, the cables themselves sometimes connect, sometimes don't connect. You will always have some issues where it'll be attached one way, it'll be attached another way. There are people who are very, very quick at this process. Some people will go right around the corner when they do it. I try to do it in the way that I always do it because it just seems safer to me. And again, you can see how that cable went towards me because I was facing. It always comes towards you. So again, I don't think that cable in that middle lined up properly. But again, it only takes a second to go back and check. And I'll show you what happens when you get it wrong. There we go. Looks pretty good here. Looks pretty good here. Again, I'm almost done linking everybody up here. It's a good day to be in space. Of course, there already is a cable there. I know there's already a cable there. I put it there. Did you see how we ran out of cable? Told you. All right, we're going to click that one. We're going to shift back the other direction. We're going to click that one. Okay, so from what you can see, it appears that all the cable is linked correctly. You see that? You see it very clearly? All right, let's go inside real fast. I'm going to go ahead and now press this button here. We're going to cycle to interior. I'm not going to force the interior door. Seems kind of reckless in my opinion. Go ahead and shut off the internals, and we're going to come to the little solar panel computer. And when I pop this one, you see this button that says scan for new hardware? I'm going to click on that, and it's going to say the solar tracker is okay, but there are no solar panels. Isn't that annoying? So the reason for that, of course, is when we did that connections, we did not set the connections up that they're actually linked. The wires crossing each other. The wires aren't touching each other. See how irritating that is? It's just, like I said, just part of the fun, So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and come up here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that wire. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that wire as well. And what that's going to do is it's going to put a cable at that position to enable us to basically link into it. And again, you can see I get a nice little curve of that cable. I'll click on that one there. You can see I get my little curve. Grab my curve of that cable. I think I've already done that one. Even though visually it doesn't look like there's a cable there, there is a cable in that position. See how these are connected now? So I can come up here, I can click on that one. I can come up here and I can click on, there we go. And again, all I'm doing is I'm clicking on that cable right there to pull it towards us. I could tear this whole spot up, but I think I did a pretty okay job. If you don't like the way that looks, one of the things you could do is you can always grab some cable cutters here. Put them in your other hand, however, and all you're going to do is you're going to come up here and you're going to gently snip it. Do you see how there was already a wire there? And again, that's, like I say, part of the fun. So you can see those two connected to each other beautifully, but they didn't connect in the middle. So again, I can come here like that, go over here, and I can go ahead and click on this one right here. Whoops. I do that every time. Nobody said this was easy. Like I said, they always try to make things as interesting possible. And you can see there we can join the cables together. Go ahead and grab this one. Go ahead and grab this one. Whoop. Go ahead and click that one up. There we go. And now we're all nice and connected in every direction. How's that for obnoxious? If you did not find that obnoxious, I think you are missing. All right, got it. As you can see, some of the cable coil somehow ended up all the way over there, just to give you an idea of how much fun it was to grab some rods and have to put that entire system back together for about the 50th time. But again, it's part of the fun, if I haven't made it clear at this point. So all those look good. They've been cabled and connected. Everything's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and head back inside, put the other cable that I collected. Actually, I could just toss it in my pocket like that. Let's go ahead and cycle back to the interior here. I'll get that in a few moments. One of the things that some people will do is they'll actually hot wire the solar panels. Right now, I'm going to go back to the computer, scan for new hardware, and you can see we now have plenty of power. So I'm going to press the auto. You can see all the solar panels adjust themselves to point automatically towards the sun. And we're now actually going to be generating some power here, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And again, that's one of the neat things that we have. Now, the power that comes off of here, of course, is going to go into its other power storage unit. Now, you can see it is not going to charge very aggressively. Again, you can put this one at 100 or put this one at 90 or something like that, depending, of course, sort of what you have at your disposal, depending kind of how all those wires have been sort of oriented and stuff like that. But you can see the whole system is now automated, and depending on what time of day it will be, will determine whether or not you're going to be generating an electrical power. What I've seen a lot of people do is they'll actually come in here and take this wire here and go straight down with it, which basically tells the solar panel to skip the exterior here and basically go right into the interior rather than even going to this battery as sort of a way to, kind of skip the complexity, I guess, is sort of another way you can kind of think about it. That technique definitely works. If that's something that you're trying to do, again, know the person you're working with here, because different crews are going to have different opinions on what you should and should not be doing with all of your different resources there. But one of the things we'll do before we go ahead and close up today, and this has been a good demonstration of kind of how to get all those things nice and set up for us, is we're going to see just how we did. And this is kind of one of those things. All right, put our suit away just like that. I'll go ahead and close up the suit storage. I got all my regular outfits from earlier. Let's see how we did. So if we come down here to the Supermatter reactor, we can see we still have mostly nitrogen, about 5 kilopascals, not bad. We can also see that we're producing about 1,500 EER. We're doing pretty well there. We have a bunch of atmospheric and power alarms. Oh no, what does that mean? I'll show you in a minute. So we'll head over here, of course, and take a look at our grid power, and there's nothing wrong. So your brain is going, why are you getting alarms if nothing is wrong? My friend, you have mice, and those mice have eaten through the cables that we have located inside of our base here. And succeeding in eating through those cables naturally now means that we have power outages on that side of the station, which we now have to get some wires and go run around and kind of fiddle around with and kind of get that all going. But one thing I just want to say as we're leaving here is always remember that the person that you're playing with or the team you're playing with might have a specific way of doing something. You've seen one way to do that today. There will be other ways, and again, different teams are going to have kind of different ways to sort of approach, how they get things up, setting their SMESs up and all those different things. You can see that several of them haven't even finished charging. Those two are about, they're looking pretty good. So we're actually doing a pretty good job here. We're charging quite a bit. There's also one other power system that we did not take a look at today, and that's the gas turbine. A lot of people will actually take the runoff of this and run it into the gas turbine to produce even more electricity, which is a good thing. And as you can see, it's pretty good. So that is just part of the day of an engineer. Like I said, about half an hour from start to finish. And when you have a team, obviously you do this quicker. There'll be somebody running, getting solar while you're in here kind of taking care of the rest of this, making sure this is all set up. Different crews, like I said, they're going to have a different opinion on how to attack this and kind of set it up. And you can see the thing is glowing, and it is fantastically radioactive in there. So we definitely want to be very, very mindful of that. And I'm just sort of sitting here. I don't hear any clicks or clacks. Oh, let's get out of here. Like I said, it doesn't take much to make that place a radioactive nightmare. Enjoy.